For me, I've noticed recently that my hands feel really tight, my fingers and things, and that's probably some arthritis. And also, I use my hands a lot for gardening and pottery and yoga, things like that. So go ahead and spread those fingers and just roll around your hands and notice where those tight places are. So for me, they're closer to the wrist. And when you find those tight places, just focus on one hand. I have my block here right in front, and I'm going to lay my hand right on it and just work in that area, keeping the fingers spread. And then work from that area, whatever area is kind of bothering you. Like for me, it's that mound of the thumb area. And so I work into that, but then I work away from it. So I go back to it and I keep rolling away from it because we want to spread the tissue, especially if you do have arthritis, and everybody does. As we age, we all get arthritis because we've used our bodies. And then go to the other hand and find those places. For me, this hand's not as much. I'm really dominant to my right side. I try not to be. I try to use both sides, but I definitely am dominant. And so once again, find those spots. I had a client the other day and she said it was her index finger just really bothering her. And so I had her working with the ball, and that was really good for her. Now, turn that same hand over so that you're on the back side and go to that webbing, the webbing between the thumb and the index. And I'm laying my hand on the block, whatever you want, and roll into that. Okay. So it might feel pretty tight in there. It might even feel a little like dull achiness. This is a very important area, not only for your organs, your large intestine specifically, but for your shoulder. Goes right up to the shoulder. And then do the other and just see if there's a difference. For me, this side is definitely more just kind of tender today. There we go. And then let's just I'm going to put the ball down and just kind of flick out. So just flick out those fingers. Really try to just move it out of you, and then add your wrists. So fingers and wrists. And then we'll add fingers, wrists, elbows. Fingers, wrists, elbows, shoulders. And just let those shoulders move a little. And if your head wants to move, let that happen. Now let your neck feel more relaxed, your jaw, and start making some sound. Oh yeah. Woo. Okay, not done. Let's grab that ball again. And let's take it right to the center, right at those palms. And then inhale up, try to get elbows towards each other. Exhale, round down, elbows open up, chin is tucked. Inhale up, look up. Exhale, round your spine, chin is tucked. Let's do two more. This is a great way to open into all of the rotator cuff muscles. And there's 4 primary muscles. Here's our last one. Reach up. Now come right back to center and let's do circles. Try to really relax your neck when you do this, because we tend to hold so much in the neck. And then other direction. Oh yeah. And release. Now we're not done with these balls, but put them down again. And if you need to readjust your legs, please do. Now let's just drop our arms to the sides and then lift up those shoulders, lift them up really high. Let go. Inhale up. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. One more time. Exhale. Oh yeah. Okay. And then grab that ball again and let's take it to where the neck meets the shoulder. I lift up that shoulder and drop down that side of the head. Now I hang on to the ball. Okay. So I'm squeezing. The other arm is just hanging heavy, and let's massage that back of the head, like just behind the ear, and also into the neck and that upper shoulder, and try to really relax your face here. You might get some clicks, and then come up carefully. Just notice, usually a big breath just immediately follows on its own. Let's go to the other side. This is a great way to reduce the holding patterns of stress in the body. So we're always going to have stress, right? And these days it's just coming at us from all angles. And it's really how we hold and learn to let go. That's the big one. And then release. Whoa. So let's put that ball off the mat so that you don't hurt yourself. Lean back and start to reach out those legs. I've got my hot pink toe correctors on, just spreading my toes. And whether you have yours on or not, just go ahead and just spread those toes. Really work with your heels. And then feet flat. So just take a moment here. So I'm still up on my little lift. It's just a little bit of foam here. But hands on knees, my feet are wide apart. Exhale and round back. Tuck that chin, hold the breath out. And then inhale slowly. Your belly comes forward, your chest, your throat, your shoulders go back. Exhale. And again, take your time with this. We tend to move way too fast as we do these movements. So this is just so good for every vertebrae, for the ribs, for the neck, and then come back to center. So I'm going to recross my legs, try to go opposite, see if you can remember. And let's take our palms together right at heart center. And we're going to take an inhale here. And on the exhale, clasp and press forward. Really reach those arms forward. Then inhale, reach up, lengthen up. And as you exhale, reach out to the sides, clasp behind. Inhale, open that chest. And exhale. Let's come back again, taking a deep inhale. Exhale, press. Really try to stretch the elbows open. Inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, reach the arms to the sides and then bring them behind. Inhale, open that chest, hold your breath. And release. One more time. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, press forward. Inhale, reach up so high. And then as you exhale, stretch those arms, take them behind, roll your chest open, a big inhale, and let that go. Oof. And once again, release those legs. Take them a little bit more out to the sides as you do this. Work the heel, push the heel forward, and then come back up. So I'm coming off of my lift. You decide whether you will or not. I'm coming back to feet wide apart. All right, great. I see some couple more people have entered. And let's take a hand to each knee. And as you exhale, round back again. And now as you inhale, really try to press that chest forward. And then exhale, round back deeply. So you're really pulling your navel towards the spine. And then inhale, reach forward. And let's do one more time. So we're really activating into that belly space. Last time. And then come up to sitting upright, lean back onto hands, feet are super wide, and let's do some windshield wipers, saying good morning to our lower body. Okay, not overly pushing, but do your hips feel similar? Do they feel the same? Or is one a little more open, a little more loose, perhaps, a little bit more at ease? Very, very, actually, very natural that we tend to hang out in one leg more than the other. Just two more. Here's our one, and here's the other. And then come back upright. So we're going to take our legs forward. I'll turn sideways so you can see from the side. Now, if you need a little lift underneath you because your hamstrings are super tight, you could do that so that you're not rounding back like this. Or you could just bend your knees a tiny bit, which I'm demonstrating. Okay, so see what works here. I also take my hand under my butt cheek and I pull the skin back a few times, and this actually helps to stretch the attachment of the hamstring. And then we're going to take palms or fists or fingers, whatever works for you, kind of a little back behind, and roll the shoulders back and push down to lift your chest. And then look at those toes and spread them and pull them towards your face, Dandasana. Now, if you can stay like this, please do. If you can keep the height of the spine, let go of one hand to the lap and then the other. So nothing else changes. This is super activation for the deep belly muscles. And then lift up one arm straight up and the other. Make sure you're breathing deeply. And then come back. Now this time, fingers out towards the sides, legs together, and let's come up into a reverse plank and then right back down. Now, if that's too intense, take it to table with your knees bent, okay? So otherwise, once again, adjust those arms. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Two more times. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Now, here we go. This last time, let's hold up if you can. Breathing deeply, looking straight up at the ceiling. Reach your throat up. And then come back down, bend those knees, and rest forward. So when we open up the upper chest like that to begin a yoga class, it can feel really intense, okay? Especially if you've been doing a lot of forward sorts of rounding, and we all kind of do with our phones and our computers, things like that. And then let's come back up, straighten out the left leg, pull the right knee in, and we're getting ready for a rotation to the right. So you decide how you want your arms to be, but sit up as tall as you can. Nice and tall. The inhales are lengthening the spine up, and the exhales are very carefully rotating, using the breath. And then unwind. We're still working on opening our hammies. We're going to put our hands either at our right ankle or under that right foot. Lift that leg part way up. Try to stay as elevated, as lengthened as possible. And then if you're able to, start to straighten that knee little bits at a time. And if you peek at me, you'll see I've got my elbows lifting. They're away from the body. And then tuck your chin, forehead towards your knee. And release. We're going to still stay on this side. And I'm going to turn so you can see me if you need to see like a front view. Now I'm going to drop that right knee down. Okay. And I've got my right foot bottom along my inner thigh. And you decide where is best. And once again, pull those butt cheeks back. If you need to bend the left knee, please do. And I'm going to grab my long elastic right now. You could use your yoga strap, or some people just hang on to their legs, their ankle, their foot. And I'm going to pull and lift my torso. So if you see me, I've got a straight spine, but I'm at a diagonal going towards my leg. My elbows are slightly bent and dropping. Breathing here. Trying to get that left foot to move towards your face. What I mean is your toes to dorsiflex. And then if you can, come deeper. Come even deeper. And those who can, you can hang on to ankle or foot. And you can round the upper back and take your chin and tuck it. Last couple breaths. Forehead towards that knee. And then come up again, hang on to your strap again, come part way up again, holding there. And releasing. And I'll just put that strap to the side for a moment here. And I'm going to take my right palm down because I'm coming up to half circle. Half circle pose, really open up that chest. And then those who want, lift the left leg, holding there, breathing. And then come back down. Oh, yeah. Okay, from here, we're going to come back in with our straps if you want or not. Same leg, same leg. I'm going to come back in a little more quickly, though. I'm going to take a few exhales to get me down to where I want to be. And then once I'm there, right around now, I'm going to take a couple more breaths. My inhales lightly lift my spine and my exhales release it back down. Then I'm going to hang on to that strap with just my left hand or hang on to your foot and rotate, open your chest and lift your right arm up. Oh, yeah. So you could stay there. Or if you want even more, take that right arm over the side of the head and start to drop downward. So it's a rotated pose here, Janu Shirshasana. We hold this for a few breaths because it takes that amount of time to really start to stretch that side body. And then come back up. De-rotate, come back down over that leg. We won't stay there though. We'll come right back up, release the strap, and once again, take half circle, same side. And then if you want to, lift that leg. Now this time, if you want even more juju, bend that left knee and straighten that left knee. Bend that left knee and straighten it. Last time, keep it bent, and some of you can actually get the foot or ankle and come into a slight back bend. And release all the way back down, all the way both legs down, and I'll turn sideways again. I feel a real difference side to side in my body. Okay, either reverse plank or table pose and move into that position. Yeah, try to hold here. You want to activate your butt muscles, your gluteus maximus to help you here. And release. Oh yeah. Okay, from here, our left foot comes in deeply and we start to take that rotation to the left. You're standing nice and tall, or not standing, but sitting nice and tall. The right foot is active. It's pulling towards your face. And just one more breath here. And come back. Okay, hands either at that ankle or foot. Let's lift that leg part way. This is the place right here where you get that torso really to lift. And then see if you can slowly stretch open, just little bits at a time. Breathing deeply, maybe tucking the chin, maybe forehead towards that knee. And come back down. That felt so good for me. Okay, I'm going to turn so you can see me in case you have to have a look. And I'm going to now drop the left knee down, getting ready for head to knee pose. I'm going to find my elastic. Okay, and here we go. We're going to pull that strap towards you. Try to activate the torso at a diagonal so that you're reaching your nose to your toes. Use that breath. We don't go fast here. We take our time because these poses are essential. So now over a period of a few breaths, you're bringing yourself further forward, further down. The last few breaths, rounding the upper back, forehead towards the knee. So Janu Sirsasana is considered a master pose because it really helps to open the whole back of the body. And then hang on to that strap again and come part way up. And then release. Oh yeah. And we're going to take the left palm and come up to that half circle, really big. And those that want to are going to lift that right leg and just hold it there. Whole body is really strong here. And then come back down. Ooh, okay. We're not done though, right? We're going to grab, once again, use the strap, or some of you don't want to, that's fine as well. And once again, we're kind of come in a little more quickly, long, slow exhales, taking you down towards that leg, breathing deeply. Noticing, of course, the differences this side of the body to the other. Now come just part way up, either hang on to the strap or just the ankle, and start to rotate and lift that left arm. Oh yeah, this side's tighter for me, but I'm working with breath. And if you want to, as you're ready, that arm comes over the side of the head. It doesn't come in front of the face. And nice deep breath. Some of you can actually get your toes with that arm. And then carefully come back out. And one last time, drop in. For me, I feel a significant change from when we first began. And we're going to come back up, remove the strap so it's not in your way, left palm down. Here we go. Come on up to that half circle. Those that want to lift the leg, and then those that want even more, bend the knee and straighten it. Bend it and straighten it. And just one more time, I'm going nice and slow. And then if you want to keep it bent, get a hold of that foot or ankle and open up the front of the body and release. Oh boy. Once released from there, let's work out those knees a little bit and those ankles, and then find yourself in that Dandasana again, which is kind of where we began today, right? That Dandasana pose, nice and tall, really stretching upwards. See if you can take one hand to your lap, the other hand to your lap, and then some of you can take your arms straight up with nothing else moving. Finally, take your palms down and either reverse plank or table. And this finally feels easier. So it took me a few of these for it to feel easier. And release. Okay. So let's come back to center, okay, to cross legs, or I always put one foot right in front of the other so that my hips feel a little bit more equal, and take your palms together. And let your eyes drift closed if that feels good. And just notice. Notice the dynamics of where we've been and where we are right this moment. There's a change. And then let the eyes open, and on an inhale, reach up really tall. And again, inhale. And one more time. A moment here, a moment of silent prayer for our own sense of awareness, for our own sense of being here right now, and then a prayer out into the world, a prayer out there to those known and unknown faces. Okay. So let's release that. And before we go to all fours, we're going to take those legs out and come right to boat pose. There you go. Awesome. I love how you just jump right into it, and see if you can really lift that chest forward and upwards. Elbows are just slightly bent. We're going to hold it for another 5 seconds. And rest. Rest with your head just letting go. Let it just hang. Let it feel heavy. Okay, that's a big deal, to let the head feel heavy. And then come back up. Okay, we're gonna shift our legs. I'll be sideways, and come to all fours. Adjust your hands. See what you need today. And as you exhale, round in. And as you inhale, reach. And let's do that a few more times. The exhale rounds in deeply, and the inhale reaches. One more time like that. Now, this next time we're coming to tiger. So we're going to take our forehead to our knee. The knee comes up, and then reach it. Arms stay down. And again, same knee, rounding in, and then reaching. And then 2 more times. And we're coming to that last time. And stay here. That leg is back. Opposite arm comes out. Holding there, breathing. Now, if you can, if it feels okay, take the arm out to the side, palm down, and bend the knee. You could stay here, or if you're okay with it, reach back and get that foot. And then try to open up that chest. Opening up the thigh as well. And letting that go right back to Sunbird, and bring it down. And we'll just kind of glide our hips as we release our wrists. Okay. And then once again, cat cows, 3 of them. Exhale, round. Inhale, reach. Feel that whole spine. Exhale, round. And reach. Now, this third time, round in, reach, and now exhale, knee to forehead, the other knee. Inhale, reach it back there. And again, exhale, round it in. You're using your belly muscles. Inhale, reach. And we have 2 more times. Here comes that last one. Reaching it behind, adjust yourself, and take the opposite arm and hold it there. Nice and lengthened here. And then if you can, take your arm to the side, palm down, and bend that knee. You could hold there. That's a really awesome pose. Or reach back and try to get that foot. Roll the chest open as you lift that leg. It's definitely a push-pull here to find this pose. And let that go, finding that sunbird again. And then bring that knee down and bring the hips just to side, just easy, releasing those wrists. Oh, yeah, I definitely feel that. Now, from here come the forearms. So I've got my forearms down, my palms are down, kind of like you're in a Sphinx pose, but you're on your knees and your butt is tilted upward, and just hold here breathing. Now you could stay here or open your elbows as wide, at least as the mat or more, and bring your forehead down. And some of you can even bring your chest down. And this is puppy pose. And then come back up and take yourself all the way back to a child pose of your choice. Okay, so you probably felt that in the upper back. That part of our bodies gets really, really tight. Oh, yeah. And what I find is I just start to breathe more deeply. So we're going to do that again. We're going to come back up to all fours, get those palms flat. And then before we go into puppy pose again, we're going to take just 2 cat cows, because I want you to feel your whole spine. Okay, from here, keeping the hips right over the knees, bring the forearms down. Palms are down. And holding here and just breathing, and see if you can kind of let your chest drop a little between those arms. Then if you can, widen up your elbows and start to bring your forehead or your chin or even your chest down to the mat. Be mindful of your neck. Keep tipping your sits bones upwards. You want to drop that upper back towards the spot, towards the mat. And then release. And once again, come back to child pose of your choice. At this point, I put my hands back by my feet. You decide, but try to let your shoulders go. That's a great way to bring so much more energy and so much strength into the upper back. Now, activate your belly. And then on the inhale, come right up to knee stand. And as you exhale, take that prostration. And then do 3 more of these. Some people write me and say this is their favorite part of the class. It's challenging for me. The slowing down of the exhale is helpful. I'm on my last one. And come back up to all fours. Just take a moment here. That was a lot of work. Okay, we're going to take our right leg out behind us and our left arm out in front. Sunbird pose again. But this time, put the palm back down and take that right leg way over to your left. I got to move a few things here. There we go. And drop it down on the floor. And then turn your head and kind of bend at the waist to see your foot. That's a nice side bend. And in a moment, we're going to start moving with it. Okay, so here we go. Take an inhale here. Exhale, swing that knee over to the right shoulder. Inhale, take it back. Exhale again. 2 more. Whenever you get to that last one, hold it there. And then take the leg behind, and we're going to put that knee down right away. Okay, other side. First, move into the sunbird pose. Really nice and strong. This is a strong pose if you get all those muscles to activate. Then put the hand down and take that left leg way over to the right and turn your head to look at it and kind of do a side bend with the side waist. Then take a deep inhale and exhale. Swing it. And inhale, take it back. 3 more. When you get to that last one, hold it there. You're trying to get that knee up quite a bit. Take it behind you and then put the knee down. One last time, puppy pose, but this time widen up your knees, okay, and your feet if you can. Keep the hip socket right over the knee and then come down to forearms. If you have to have a peek at me, please do. So you can stay here. This is a great place to be. Or if you want more, widen up the elbows and get your chest down closer to the floor, your chin or your forehead, and breathe here. You're focusing between the shoulder blades, trying to let that area drop. And release back up, but we're going to come on to bellies all the way down and rest. Just rest. I'm resting in crocodile pose with one palm on top of the other hand. You could glide your hips here. You could do windshield wipers here if that feels good. You could have your head turned to one side. We're going to take just a few more breaths resting here. Then go ahead and take your forehead to the back of your hands and start to take those really deep breaths right into belly. Okay, right into belly. Every time you exhale, you want to really let all the breath out so it's as though your belly could lift off the mat. And one more. That's a practice I do every single day. Okay, from here, get ready for cobra pose. Adjust your hands. And then take that inhale up. Keep the legs down. And the exhale comes down. Do 3 more on your own. Take your time with it. I want you to feel every part of this pose. Whenever you get to the third, and I'm just approaching it now, stay up. Try to roll those shoulders back and down. Don't let them crawl up. Use all your fingers, pressing them down. And then come all the way down and just rest. Yeah, so for those of you who are going to be traveling soon, like Mary, you know, to get a really good practice in for your back body if you're going to be sitting a lot. So things like this, so good to do. Okay, so from here, we have not done this in a long time. So if you need to take a peek at me, please do so that you get it. So what I'm going to do is bring my legs a little closer to each other. I'm going to rest my forehead down on my hands so my head could move around if it needs to. And then I'm going to bend my right knee. And if you need to have a look, please. And I'm going to lift that leg and then I'm going to take it over my body to the left and try to toe touch down and bring it back. So I'm going to take my hands out to the sides. I think it's going to be better for me. So I'm going to bend my left knee and take that leg over and come back. We haven't done these in so long. So take your time. We're going to do several here. Some of you like to just stay on one side for a while. Remember, you're just letting your head kind of hang. It's kind of the counter pose. You want to try to lift that bent knee pretty high before you take the toe touch down to the opposite side. Now, last couple right now, we're going to go to whatever side and try to just stay there. And then come back. And then to the other side. And come back. and totally rest. And here I really like to just kind of glide my hips side to side. That is so, I can't even tell you how good that is for the nervous system, the whole central nervous system. Bring your forehead back onto the backs of the hands and take 3 slow, deep breaths again. So we're bringing breath into that low back and belly. Last one. Then bring your legs closer to each other, curl your toes under, take and plant your palms, and on an exhale, either come up through on all fours or try to come straight up to plank. Either way, make your way to plank. And then everybody bend those knees and start to walk your hands back to your feet and bring yourself up to standing. Whoa. And once up to standing, let's just move around. Good. I see you've all made it up. Okay. And roll those shoulders back. Yeah. So activating the back body here. You've also felt in the beginning a lot of chest opening. So very important. So now standing anywhere you want on your mat. Okay. Finding that sense of balance in both feet. We're going to take a stork pose with right knee lifted. You're gazing forward, soft eyes. Try to really activate this low belly. And then take that bent knee back. It could be just a tiny bit, right? Holding there. Now, those of you who want to, take it back further as the arms and torso come forward. You're trying to drop that right hip a tiny bit and then bring it back through and down. And just take a moment. I know many of you are also doing gardening, and so you might feel kind of creaky in your body. So we're doing lots of work here in the core as well. Here we go to the other side. Stork pose, soften the eyes. Then take that bent knee back just a little bit. Now, here's a great place to stay if you feel like you're losing your balance. Just stay there or keep pushing it back, reaching forward, lightly dropping left hip, just teeny bit. And then come back through. Good, 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 good. And bring it down. Palms together. For some reason, I always get just a little short of breath when I do that. And I have been doing it for years, but it takes some effort. It takes some effort. Okay, so let's move a little bit because we're working our way to something we haven't done in a while. We're working our way to head to knee pose, standing head to knee pose. Okay, so before we go further, we're going to widen up about as wide as the mat, soften those knees, hands on hips, and hip circles. Oh yeah. And take your time here because I want you to feel the hip sockets. I want you to feel if they're actually doing a circle, and then go deeper all the way around. We want more juice in there, synovial fluid, and then come back up. Once again, drop in, start little, opposite direction. This side feels like I have a little bit of a hitch in my left hip, but I feel it kind of leaving, like it's not stuck. And then go even bigger. We were walking on a wash yesterday in the Wild Burro Trail. And when I walk on a wash, it's extra effort, you know, up in through your hips. So I think I feel that today. And then come back. Okay, and come back up, standing straight. Before we do that head to knee, because that's a powerful pose, we're going to take tree pose. It could be on your mat. It could be off your mat. I love it. I see people adjusting and moving around. Your left leg will be your standing leg. And whenever you're ready, find that place that feels best for you. Yeah, that's nice. Really nice. Ah. So you want to feel the sense of expansion, just like a tree, and you might even lift your arms up, you decide. But you also want to feel that sense of groundedness, just like a tree. Both things, and we can bring that right into these bodies and hold a little bit longer. I want you to really feel the power of the standing leg, and then come down. Let that breath just move through you. Okay, let's go to the other side. So when I have the toe correctors in, I naturally seem to have a better balance because I'm right away going to that wider foot, that wider toe box, which is really that's who we truly are. It's just that us, modern people over the decades stuck our feet in shoes that were not appropriate in all different ways, especially women. And use your breath. But I always have the belief that it's never too late. It's just never too late to make those changes. Now I want you to feel that power of your standing leg and release. And just stand. Stand in both legs equally, as you can. Okay, and then we're just going to move a little bit while we think about getting set up for standing head to knee. So remember, and those of you who have done this with me in classes, know that one option I give you is to back to a wall. Your feet are not right at the wall. Your feet are good, maybe 8 or 10 inches from the wall, but your butt is lightly touching the wall as you're getting ready to do this, okay? But I want to give you another option because there's some of you who have so much tightness in your hammies that it just might not even feel good to do that. And that would be to put the chair kind of near the wall or on your mat and then sit just on the little edge of it so you feel like you're really solid. And then you're going to lift that knee and then you're going to work to the foot and you're going to work straight out and down. And we're going to do 2 sets today on each side. And so you could even play with that and then maybe the wall, or many of you are right there on the mat. Okay. So remember, this is not a contest or how quickly you can go. We're going to stay for several breaths on the one side. So you choose the side and you can always come in and out. So I've chosen to stand in my left leg and I'm lifting my right knee. And if you can see me, you'll see I'm just holding it up there and I'm really trying to stand really tall. Once you feel like, wow, I've got that in place, then you start to bring your hands down to your ankle or your foot bottom, ideally. And then eventually you start to stretch that leg open, pushing the heel away from you. And then eventually, if you can, you bend the elbows and bring your forehead towards your knee. Those are all the steps, but you could stop anywhere you went on the way. So I just fell out of it, but I'm going to come right back into that same side. We have about 4 more breaths. And for the purposes of this video, I'm going to stand to the wall in case you want to look at it another time. And I'm coming back into that same side. My butt is just lightly touching the wall. I've lifted the knee. Then I'm coming down to the foot. I'm going to try to be really upright. I'm pushing my butt in the wall as I push the leg out. Use your breath. And then if you're able to, try to bend the elbows, forehead to the knee. And wherever you're at, release. And try to just stand for a moment. Just try to stand. We want that breath to come right up through this body. Then move around a little bit. Okay, so we haven't done that in such a long time that you might be going, oh my God, that really felt crazy. We're coming back to it in a second set, but we're going to go to the other side first. Okay, so let's see what the other side brings us. All right, so now I'm standing in my right leg. And this here, where I'm just lifting the left knee and I'm really pulling it in and I'm standing as tall as I can, this could be the whole practice because this takes a lot of effort. But if you feel I can go further, hold on to the ankle or the foot. And then, of course, if you can go further, stretch out that leg, push the heel away. Oh, yeah. And if you can go further, tuck the chin, forehead towards knee. If you fall out of it or just need to come out of it, now's the time. Maybe a little shake and then come right back into it. And once again, I'm going to come to the wall. I'm going to stay on that same side. And I'm bringing up that knee, getting the foot, reaching out. So we prepped for this pose on the floor today when we first began doing Janu Sirsasana. One more breath here. And release. Try to just stand. Let that energy drop downwards and then breathe it back upwards. And then move around again. Okay. Now, if you've got really tight hammies, you don't try to straighten the knee fully. Instead, work more the spine laying forward. Okay. So we're coming back to that initial first side. I'm going to attempt to do it right on the floor here. So see what you need. Maybe the chair, okay? Maybe the wall. I love it. I love watching you all move around, finding your spots, and then go ahead and come into it. We're not going to stay as long, but we've got about 5 breaths here. Coming into the last breath. And come back out. And just let that breath move into you. Move your body a little bit. And then get ready for the other side. Last time, okay? What I love about doing this at your own home is that you're free to move around, right? You're much more free to move around than in a studio, and maybe find that special spot at your house that helps you to do this pose. Last breath. And come back out. Stand up nice and tall, but feel your feet bottoms. And then let's just move around. Well, very powerful pose. Oh my gosh. Okay. But remember, you can learn that pose in a chair. And also you can prepare for that pose on the floor like we did this morning with head to knee. Okay, that's a preparation for that pose. Now, finding anywhere you want to be on your mat again, we're going to move into that left leg and we're going to lift up the right knee and find your stork pose and just hold that pose. It should feel lighter. It should feel easier. And then inhale, reach the arms up. And on the exhale, push that leg out and come down. Other side. Try to really lift up that torso. That's how you know you really have this pose, even if you're shaking like crazy. Inhale, lift those arms up. Exhale, push that leg out. And come back down, standing so equal, palms face forward, eyes could be closed, or they could be looking forward and down. All right. So now let's open up our feet as wide as the mat, or even a little wider if you feel like you won't slide around, and feet are slightly turned out. And let's find our horse stance. Okay, horse stance, like I'm looking for a chair. Okay, stay solid there, and then inhale. Eyes stay open. Last one. Hold there, breathing. Then one hand each knee, pop your butt back even further. That feels so good. So you can stay here. This is very respectable, maybe one shoulder back and then the other shoulder back. Or if you're able to, come down to a deeper squat. Yeah, give it a try. Even try to squat to the chair. Nice. Look at some of you just pop yourselves down. It's so good. Like we're going to eat with the tribe, right? The tribe next door. Who owns chairs? I mean, it's such a crazy thing. We should all be on the floor. And then let's lean forward and come back up. Oh, and once again, move around. So the latest craze, which I think is a very worthy one, instead of the standing desk, is to have a desk very low to the floor that you have to squat to, or have a really low kind of bench. And then you're really working with your hips and knees. It's pretty cool. You could look it up. I told it to my son, the animator with Pixar, and he's like, "Ma, I got the standing desk. I'm fine." Okay, so we're going to come up to the fronts of our mats. We've done so much like real purposeful work here on specific areas of the body. Now we're going to put it all together. Let's take our palms together at heart space. And then on an inhale, reach up so tall. And as you exhale, forward fold. Next inhale, come partway up and really stretch that spine. Should feel good. And as you exhale and release, right leg back. Let's stay with that back knee lifted. Nice deep breaths here. I'm up on fingertips and pushing them firmly into the floor. Then plant your right palm and open up your left chest, your left arm. Nice. And just breathe into that area. My yoga days where I have this long class like this one, and also Fridays, are so good for me. I feel so good the whole day. And then come back. We're going to turn the back foot and place it flat and make our way to side angle pose. Now be very mindful of that front knee, that left knee, that it's aligning, and reach up the right arm, stretch it up, and just hold here. So the inhale is lifting that arm and the exhale is sinking the hip. One more time. Then look down, turn, and come back to the lunge. And let's take it back to plank pose. Holding that plank. Try to hold it for one more breath. I know this is challenging. Then exhale, knees, and come back to an extended child pose. You're fingertipping forward. Your elbows are off the mat, trying to get the forehead down. Breathing here. And then on the inhale, come up to knee stand. Exhale, all fours. Next exhale, downward facing dog. Take your time with it. In fact, walk it. Bend one knee, the other. Say hello to your calf muscles, so important. And try to stretch them in different ways. So outer heel a little bit, inner heel. And then come to your full pose. Now, inhale to plank. Exhale, either knees come down first or try to come all the way down. Next inhale, either a cobra or an upward facing dog. And then the exhale, knees down and come to a relaxed child pose. Take an inhale back up to knee stand. Exhale to all fours. Next exhale, downward facing dog again, but widen up your feet. Turn them slightly out. And as you're breathing here, walk your hands back to your feet and come into a wide leg chair pose. So if you need to peek at me, you'll see my hips are a little bit above the knees. And then come up to standing. Good. And we're at the backs of our mats. We bring our feet in closer. Hands on hips, soften knees. We're going to take a big step forward with the right foot. Big step. Once you get there, start to bend that knee and see if you can lift the back heel or put the foot flat, either way. But both hips should be pointing forward. Sink into this pose. And then lift your arms, but have them nice and wide. It's a hero pose. And take an inhale at that diagonal, really reaching. And as you exhale, drop the arms, step forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, back to heart. If you need to adjust to get to the front of your mat, go ahead. And here we go. Take that inhale and lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Next inhale, lengthen. And as you exhale, left leg back. There's that nice lunge pose. Every part of your body right now is active, okay? So you're not just hanging here. You're in it. You're awake in this pose. And then press your left palm down and open up the right chest, the right arm. And come back to lunge. Take your time on this next movement as you turn the back foot and place it flat and come up to side angle. You want to really be leaning your forearm into this front knee. Then lift up that left arm. We're keeping it at that place, but every inhale we reach it up higher, and every exhale we sink. 2 more. Then looking down, turning back to lunge. Here we take it to plank pose. Plank pose is easier if your feet are wider, so you decide. Holding there, breathing. And then on your exhale, coming all the way down, either knees first or just straight down. Hard for me to do. And then the inhale is either a cobra or an upward facing dog. Exhale, back to an extended child pose. Really stretch those arms ahead of you and wide. Back to all fours, adjust those hands, downward facing dog. Oh yeah. And once again, we'll walk our dog. My calves were really tight when I started this morning, but they're feeling so much better. And then find your pose, find your full pose here. Let your head go. Inhale to plank. Exhale, come straight down. inhale, upward dog or cobra. And this time, exhale back to downward facing dog. So you could take your time coming through all fours. And we're going to widen up those feet and then walk yourself back to a wide leg chair pose. And then inhale straight up, and release those arms down and bring yourselves inwards, but at the back of the mat. Just take a moment to feel how everything's coming together. Hands on hips, soften knees, a big step forward with left leg. And even move it further forward if you want that deeper lunge, you decide. Makes it a little more challenging, of course. Reach up those arms, widen them up. Take it to that diagonal. It's stretching from that back foot right through fingertips. And then release those arms. Step forward, reach arms up. And as you exhale, take hands right to heart. And this time we'll just lightly drop the chin, but keep the chest lifted. Pose of humility. We want to shine our light, right? We want to shine our lights so that people can see us, so that we can be a beacon for others, right? But at the same time, there's a humbleness to that. Okay. And then take an inhale and reach up so tall. Now on the exhale, forward fold with knees bent. Put one hand on each knee. Inhale, lift the torso forward and halfway up. And then exhale, drop, let the arms go and hold opposite elbows. And you can sway side to side. Now you could also straighten your knees if you feel like you got enough length in the back of your body. Just kind of swaying. Make sure your head feels really heavy as well as your sides of your shoulders. And then bend those knees deeply, release the elbows, and on the inhale, come up to chair pose. Hold their breathing, try to settle into it. Oh my gosh. Come a little further up to Utkatasana. And in a moment, we're going to try to come up to toes, all the way up, toe stand, reach up, hold there. And back to heart. Back to heart. Let's take a moment just feeling the power of what we've just done. Okay, here we go. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, part way up, stretch. And now as you exhale and drop the torso, right leg back, right there. There's our lunge pose. Now here you have the opportunity, the option to put your knee down if it helps you to feel more stable. Otherwise, keep it up. Both hands to front knee and lift that torso. Woo! And then lift the right arm and feel that stretch deep into the groin. And then if you can, lift the other arm, but widen them up. Powerful legs here. Now you can stay right here or put your hands on that front knee or clasp behind and take a bow with your torso. And then inhale back up. And on the exhale, a bit of a back bend. And releasing, taking palms down. We're taking left leg back. So at this point, I know you're getting tired. You could always put those knees down right now, right? Or hang out with me here. And then everybody, knees down, widen up those knees, big toes touch, and pull back. And maybe drop your forearms and drop your chest and your forehead. and breathe 3 deep breaths into your pelvic floor. The inhale pushes the pelvic floor lightly down towards your feet, and the exhale lets it come back up. That's the natural rhythm of our body. And then come up to sitting onto heels, knees forward. Take just a moment with fingertips right down or fists to the mat, Virasana. Then inhale right up to knees, arms up. Exhale to all fours. And next exhale, downward facing dog. It should feel so much easier. Bring your feet closer to each other. Lift your left leg, your right leg straight up. Bend the knee, open the hip. Oh, yeah. And then put that foot down. And we'll do the other side. Lift the left leg straight up. Bend the knee, open the hip. And put it back down. And now we're going to step the right foot forward. Woohoo! Okay, here you have that opportunity again to put your knee down if you feel more stable, or the knee could go to a block. Both hands to front knee, lift up your torso. Lift up your left arm, feel that wonderful stretch, and maybe your right arm. So that really gives a lot more power, but you don't have to do all that. Hold here, breathing. Now here, you can put your hands on your knee or clasp behind, open that chest, stay there, or take a bow. Your legs, your hips are powerful here. We're talking bone density. Come back up, back bend, and release the arms, and we're going to try to step forward. Step forward. Those can be the hardest, right? And take your palms together. Close your eyes if that feels good, because we want to just let ourselves sink into standing mountain. Today was a very powerful practice. We're still in the spring season, and we want to destagnate. We want renewal. We want rejuvenation. We really do, all of us. All of us on this earth, including the earth, right? And then release. And just kind of move around a little bit. Oh, yeah. Flick out your fingers, your shoulders. So you don't want to traumatize yourself with yoga. There are some yoga classes that just push you so hard and you feel the need to do everything. I don't want you to feel that way. Some days it's like, yeah, I'll go for it. Other days, no, I'll take the modification. Okay, so now you have an opportunity, okay? You have an opportunity for a standing balance pose. It could be something we've already done, standing head to knee, oh my God. Or it could be a tree pose or a format of it, or maybe a standing half moon pose, or how about the dancer, okay? So what will it be? We are gonna stay for 10 breaths about on one side, okay? And so finding whatever that is, if you come out of it, take a moment and go back into it until I tell you we're done on that side. Okay, here we go. What I want you to focus on is your breath. I want you to hear your breath moving in and out of your nose slowly. Ujjayi breath can really stimulate the release of the lymph nodes, which helps release toxicity in the body. We're about halfway through on this side. Stay with it or advance it or come out and come back in. And one more breath here. And we're going to try to come gracefully out of whatever pose you chose to gift yourself with. And once out, just stand. Because I really want you to feel the after effects. Especially if you were able to control your breath. So if you cannot control your breath in a pose, you know you're in too deeply. Okay, that is one of the signs. So let's go to the other side. Okay, whenever you're ready, no rush. Remember, use any modifications that you would like to try, a chair, a wall, a block. Maybe you're just going to stand this one out and watch the screen to see what feels best for you. Go to that breath. I want you to hear it going in and going out. We're about halfway through now. You can come out and go back in. You could advance or modify. Just stay with it. Just stay with the breath. One last breath here. And start to come back out. If you feel like the intensity, the energy of what you just did was so much, just back yourself to a wall and just rest in that wall. So that's what I'm doing right now. Allow the tarpaka, the aftertaste, the afterglow, the sense of the true yoga. Allow that to come in. And then move around. Oh, yeah. So you can actually go to any class and make it as simple or as advanced as you want by knowing what you need that day and pushing yourself a little bit, but really being mindful of the breath. So we're going to come down now. We're going to come all the way down to our butts. How are you going to do that? So I'm just kind of going into it like a monkey or gorilla and just taking my time getting down there. I do this several times a day in all different ways. So it has gotten much easier for me, which I'm so grateful for. And I'm going to turn sideways just in case you need to have a look. Okay. Excuse me. From here, we're taking a boat pose. Oh, yes, we are. Spread your toes. Push those heels away from you. Lift up this torso. If you want even more juju, get your palms together, extend the elbows and reach the index fingers. And release. Just release. Just breathe into the back of your body. Come back upright and widen up your feet, really wide, wider than your mat. Lean back with a straight spine. And once again, brace yourself with windshield wipers, okay, hip openers here, and see if there's an ease. See if an ease has come over you with this. For me, it has. That little glitch I had is gone, luckily. I get worried sometimes, of course. And then come back up. We're going to, I'll turn to face you. We're going to cross our legs any way you want, sitting up really tall. You could also sit up on a bit of a block or a bolster. You're going to take your left hand over to your right knee and then plant your right fingers down behind you and roll open that right chest. Take a deep inhale and exhale into a deeper rotation. Now this time we're going to do Kapalabhati. That's the forced exhales. And don't worry about the inhales. We're going to do 30. So here we go. Eyes stay open. Take an inhale. Inhale, back to center, arms up. Exhale, other side. So if it feels like too much to do 30 of those forced exhales through the nose, just fake it, okay? But maybe just do 10. It's so good for cleansing the lungs, okay? Bringing energy upwards. Get in place. First, take a full inhale and a full exhale. Inhale again. Begin. Release, inhale back up. Exhale, palms down a little behind you. Reach out those legs, reach them into a preparation for boat pose. Then take one hand behind each knee, shoulders back, balance in this boat pose if you can. And if you want to, reach the arms up. Now the tricky part, can you bring the feet in and get a hold of those toes? You can always put your feet down first. Hold here in this balance. You could stay here or start to lift the legs further up. You could have them super wide. I usually have them just slightly wide. Either way, gaze up, wrists lift. This next part is tricky. You're going to release the feet and inhale to Dandasana. Hold and breathe. And then plant your palms for reverse plank or table. And come back down. Hang on to knees, tuck your chin, and roll yourselves all the way down. Oh, doesn't that feel good? Woohoo! I can guarantee you today you are going to be digesting so much easier. Bring your knees in and let's just rock side to side. Just rock side to side. Oh. That feels so good. And then come back to center, but we're going to then roll to our right side. And if you want to put a block between the knees, go ahead. So I'm on my right side. I'm got my right arm under my right side of my head so I can rest my neck. And I'm in this 90-90 with knees and hips. And I'm not going to let my hips move at all, but I've got my left arm out in front of me, chest height. And then inhale, open the left arm and chest and head to behind you without moving your hips. Exhale, come back. Just two more. Inhale, open. Exhale, come back. Last time, hold there. Hold there. My arm does not touch down unless I move my hip, and I don't want to move my hip. We're working into the mid back. So important, especially for women. And then come back. Whew. And let's flip ourselves to the other side. 90-90, support your head, please. It's best if you have something between your knees, but just make sure you don't move your hips at all. And here we go. Inhale, open that right arm and chest and head. Exhale, come back. Again, inhale, open. Exhale, come back. Last time, open, hold and breathe. And then come back and then bring yourselves back onto your backs. Remove the block if you've been using one. We're going to widen our feet about as wide as the mat, but not wider. And we're going to come into heels. So that means my toes are not on the mat. I'm just pushing heels down. And if you need to peek, please do. And then I've got my arms down by my sides. Now I'm going to inhale up to bridge and take the arms overhead. Exhale, back down, nice and slow. Again, inhale, push into those heels. Come into bridge. Exhale, back down. Last time. Hold there, arms are resting behind you. I'm pressing firmly through heels, lifting up through hips, breathing into chest. And then come all the way down and hug in. And if there is something we did not get to today, go ahead. Go ahead. Enjoy it. Maybe you want legs up the wall, feet on a chair. Maybe you want legs up the wall and your bolster under your hips or your block under your hips. Maybe you want a shoulder stand or a headstand, another bridge, a wheel. What is it that would feel so good for you right now? Maybe you just want your palms on your belly, taking slow, deep breaths. We'll take a minute here, honoring each other for our own special needs, okay? Just honoring each other. I know we're all wonderful pundits and everybody has an opinion of what's needed in this world, but definitely I think we can all agree what's needed is to honor humans, to honor each other. And to learn how to do that as little children. And we're almost done with that minute. You can choose to stay there for your final relaxation or start to bring yourselves all the way down. I brought my bolster in because I'm going to take it. It's my really big bolster. I'm going to take it under my knees and then come down. Oh, that feels so good. And I'm going to open my arms way out wide, palms up. My neck's a little sore from some other things I was doing this weekend. So I'm just going to turn my head lightly side to side just to release it. And then just come to center. Come to that quietness. And sometimes the best thing to do to get there is to do a simple body scan. Just notice your legs, your feet, letting them just drop. Just notice your hips, your back, your rib cage. Let it drop. Just notice your arms, your shoulders, your hands. Let them go. Just notice the heaviness of your head, the inner mouth structures, your teeth, your gums, your cheeks, your tongue. Just let go. And now starting to come back so easily, knowing you're safe right now, right where you are. It's such a privilege to be safe right now. And breathe into that experience as you start to stretch and open. Because when you know that and you have awareness as well, you can help others so much more easily. Hmm. And as you're ready, start to come up to sitting. Hmm. Once up to sitting, we'll take Bhairava Mudra. Both palms are upwards, and we're going to just place the little finger side of the right hand just below the navel, touching the body, and then put the back of the left hand over that and just let it rest. Bhairava. This is that concept of freedom, of liberation, of unity. Breathe into that as I read you a passage from Dana Faltz, The Soul of Yoga. What is the soul of yoga? Follow your heart into the center of the pose and find in the midst of detail and precision, in breath and alignment, balance and bliss, find at the very core of all of this is love. Touch upon your truest nature even once, and the experience of what you really are sears the psyche like the surface of the sun. The soul of yoga, the gift within the pose, is the moment of communion, resting in pure essence, the awakening as if from the sleep to the face of unmistakable divinity, the ineffable wonder and living reality of spirit. And oh, yes, the soul of yoga is love. And we'll release that mudra and we'll bring our palms together. Taking an exhale, inhale. Om Shanti. Om peace. Namaste. Namaste.